That's America's top recovering attorney. Well, I've been a Tesla owner for over 1 year now, and I've had two Teslas during that time, a Model 3 long range and a Model S long range. My current car is the Model S long range, and love the car. Can't say enough good things about it. The range is exceptional. Initially, when I got the car, it said I would get 405 miles per charge. That's at 100%. And that number has gone down to around 375 if I wanted to push the car in real world driving highways in excess of the speed limit here in Florida, which is 65, probably could get close to 300 miles per charge. But the reason for this video is some you know what valet guy banged up my bumper and I had to get it repaired. So I was looking to rent a car for a couple of 3 days, and I look at Hertz and they've got a Model Y for rent. And it really wasn't much more than a lower quality mid-size vehicle like a Hyundai Sonata, or maybe it was the Toyota uh, Camry, which I guess qualifies somewhere as a larger size vehicle. But I said, hey, why not? I already know how to drive a Tesla. I'm going to rent a Model Y from Hertz. And that's what I did. Uh, Cost me about $85, $90 a day. Cool thing is, you can bring it back to Hertz with no charge on it, just enough charge literally to get into the driveway of Hertz. They don't expect you to recharge this car. Now, right now in Florida, to use a supercharger, the cost is 41 cents per kilowatt hour. If you multiply that times 75 kilowatt hours, the approximate capacity of the Tesla Y's battery pack, and that's at 100%, you'd be looking at about $30. The stated range of the Tesla was at 80% or 90% was around 325 miles. So not that much less than the Model S. But here's the deal. You're used to using your key, your smartphone as a key. You can't do that on the Hertz because you have to register your phone. All you can use your smartphone for is syncing to Bluetooth on your Model Y so that you can then use it for music and other things, other apps that you want to go through your Bluetooth speaker system. Um, the nav worked. They do not have enhanced connectivity. I have no idea if the Tesla even updates to the uh, latest version of the Tesla software that I think you automatically get it, but if you have enhanced connectivity, you can get it easier. I didn't know if they actually connected it to the Hertz Wi-Fi to enable it to get updates that way. Not sure about that. Basically, none of the apps for music like Spotify uh, and other apps worked at all. So I just used my smartphone for sound, for music, etc., for playing videos through whatever I was doing. And that was fine. But like I said, you can't sync your key to your phone. It won't allow you to do that. And I guess there's obvious reasons for that. They don't want you adding keys that then an attendant is responsible for removing before they can rent the car, or otherwise somebody could steal it. And they don't want you taking control of their car totally from the source. So you aren't able, your app will not recognize the Model Y, the Hertz Model Y, as an option. Whereas if you own multiple Teslas, you can switch between them. Can't do that here. So as a seasoned veteran Tesla owner, yeah, for a little more than a year, uh, I know exactly what settings do what. But sometimes you get complacent and you don't always change them. There's updates, things happen. But for a person renting this car the first time out, look, it took me 20 minutes to do all the settings between the seats, the mirrors, that's a big one, and all of the other miscellaneous settings. For instance, this car that I had just under 5,000 miles, and nobody had ever properly configured the autopilot to use auto steer. So I had to do that. Uh, all these little settings that we kind of take for granted, like the Joe setting, because you don't want the chimes going loud, or uh, my car wasn't set for chill, so it was slow off the line, so I had to set it for chill. There's a whole host of settings that nobody had ever bothered with that took a little bit of time, frankly. But for me, I was familiar with it, no problem to set it up. Uh, I think I set the suspension, the pedals, all these things. So if you're a veteran Tesla owner or a recent Tesla owner and you need to get the car serviced and you need or want a Tesla, then Hertz is a great choice. If you are not technically oriented, many females are intimidated by the Tesla configuration setup menus on the screen, then you might want to think twice about it. Um, for me, range anxiety was never an issue because I know what the Tesla can do. I know how many miles it's going to get approximately, and it's just not a factor. Plus, I have a charger in my garage. I didn't need to charge it, but I charged it up one night. I thought I might be going down to Miami, so I would need the extra range. Turned out I never did. For me, in my home, off-peak charging cost me 7 cents per kilowatt hour. So uh, it's just a much better deal than actually going to a supercharger, which is why most people actually charge their cars, their Teslas, in their home. And you only go to a supercharger when you're short on range, you're concerned you're not going to make it home to your home charger. So, so overall, uh, giving Hertz the real props they deserve for really leading the charge for rental EVs. The experience was highly positive for me. For a non-experienced Tesla owner driver, probably not so much because you're going to spend a lot of time just syncing things up. Just syncing up the phone. In most cars, syncing up Bluetooth is relatively simple. It is simple in the Tesla, requires several more steps. So, a newbie Tesla driver could find this very, could find it a bit frustrating. But once you have your car set up, it's set up, and then you just drive it and you don't think twice about it. I had it memorize my seat and mirror positions. Your average newbie is just not going to bother with that. Um, Other things, the car, I have to say, much tighter drive than the Model S. No squeaks or rattles in that car. I don't know if it had 4680 batteries. It's very possible that it did. I tried, they had it set for an 80% charge. I just moved it up to 100 for the heck of it to see what would happen. And basically, not much, gave me the error message about regenerative braking that wouldn't be as effective at a full charge, and that, I'll wreck the battery if I do that regularly. Since I was returning it, I wasn't overly concerned. One thing I learned was that in the autopilot section, they added it, or maybe I missed it, but I was noticing that the car would beep when I was at a traffic light and it turned green. And I looked, and sure enough, there was a setting that somebody had clicked to beep when light turns green. So when I got back and I got my Model S, I set that because, you're screwing with your phone, you're not paying attention, the light changes, and then idiots behind you start blowing their horns because you didn't bolt off the line the second the light changed. So I do that now. That's an added plus. There were several other features like that that Tesla has added over time and that aren't that weren't available when I first got my Model S, and I guess I haven't kept up with the updates, but they're very subtle, sublime. They're cool. They're useful for sure. Um, One thing that the Model Y had that mine doesn't is the ability when you put on your direction signal right or left, the camera will show you your blind spot. And in the Model S, you can't adjust the appearance of where that goes on the screen, and it's in the bottom left. And I find it not as useful a position. In the Model Y, Model 3, you simply take your finger, you swipe up, and it's in the upper left corner, which I find much more useful. So that was a cool thing. Um, it had an app to track real time electric consumption, and I haven't been able to figure out how to do that in my Model S. Maybe it's there somewhere. If you know how to do it, just give me a comment. So that's it. So the takeaway is Hertz, props to them for taking this bold action of moving into EVs. I mean, they're cool. They're a lot more fun to drive than regular cars, a lot safer, and uh, maybe more environmentally friendly, but I'll leave that for you to decide. We all have our opinions on that. Car was slower, way, way slower than my Model S. That was a little disappointing, I have to confess. But overall, great experience. If you have not driven a Tesla before and you're thinking of renting one from Hertz or another agency, go to the YouTube tutorials on the various features, particularly autopilot, mirrors, syncing your Bluetooth phone to the to the Tesla, because that will save you a lot of time. All of these things you can Google, you can easily, quickly find answers, but if you're not used to the menu configurations, it's not really a natural menu configuration. It doesn't, it's not intuitive. You have to learn them. So I would suggest just watch a few of those videos if you're thinking of renting a a Tesla from Hertz. That will help you. It will save you time. Even for me, it took me 20 minutes, but I was messing around with everything. By the way, I like the seats in the Model Y much better than in the Model S. I don't know if they're the same, different iteration, whatever. They seem to be more firm, more support. The AC, though, did not work as good in the Model Y as in the Model S. I have no idea why. They both use a heat pump. They're both using similar parts. Just seems my Model S far superior. You won't be able to use the remote features from your phone, from the Tesla app, like setting the temperature when you're coming back and using it to open the frunk or the hatchback or all those features, because the app is not at the present time enabled to work with a Hertz rented Tesla. All things considered, I gave it a 9. Hey, let me know what you think. Leave some comments down below. And hey, got a question about Teslas? You think I might be able to help? Just shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. Thanks for watching.